Hey there, happy Thursday. This is Jody Fisher, and thank you for listening in live. If you happen to catch me going and rolling here, or thank you for coming and listening to the recording. I know that not everybody has a chance to jump on at the spur of the moment and get in a quiet place to have some big loud voice come out of your phone while you're in public. So if you've taken the time to come back and watch the recording, I really appreciate it. I will post below a link of all of my motivational videos that are on YouTube. So you can go watch at any time. I understand what that's like. Nobody can be on their phone all the time. I wanted to come on today and just share with you guys about trying new things and ask you also, how do you get yourself to try new things? It can be a pretty difficult process. I know that myself, I wasn't much of a trier of new things. There were certain things I could make myself do, but short hairdos didn't happen until it had to happen for me. Quick story, I was getting a haircut, preparing for my husband to come home from deployment, and the woman who cut it with this style, you know, the Friends look at the time, made me look like a poodle. And the only way to fix it was to get a short, funky pixie haircut. So I would have not ever done that, I don't think, unless I had been forced to. Now I can just have messy hair whenever I want, and it's hard to know whether it's right or wrong. So as far as trying new things go, I think that's hard for those of us that are perfectionists, those of us that are afraid to show who we truly are. We might be, hey there, hey, sorry, Carla. Hey Carla, how are you doing? Carla, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? I'd really appreciate that. I don't know if my volume's working. So those of us that are perfectionists, we can have a problem trying new things. We get really afraid that other people are going to see us as being, the general word I would say is vulnerable, but we get, if we want to break it down into all the variations, we get afraid that people are going to see us as not being as intelligent, or not being attractive, or not being talented, or not being safe. So I think a lot of the times we hold back when we want to try new things because we just think that someone's going to judge us. So the problem with that is that we really can't control what other people think about us. We can give them the information by doing something, but we can't really say how they were brought up to feel about people who take risk. We can't really say what ideals they have about beauty and intelligence. And we really don't know how their day's going when it comes down to the minute. So why would we try to limit one thing of what we do when we can't control all that other stuff? So I just want to encourage you, if you are worried about what other people think or that they might judge you, that there's a lot more going on than just what you're doing in that moment, and a lot more to do with other people. So how do we get ourselves to try new things? Someone asked me this yesterday because they said, well, what new thing are you doing? And of course the first thing that came to my mind, because I have bruises from it and I'm sore, is that I'm learning to ride the unicycle. That's sort of an uncommon thing. So it did pique a lot of interest, and the person was surprised and asked me how I even made myself do that. I would have said, I told her that I wouldn't have done that 2 years ago. I wouldn't have ever tried that because of all those reasons I already told you. I wouldn't even try to do something fun and quirky like that because I'd be afraid I'd fail. And a lot of us have that fear. So how do you talk yourself out of it? If you're on here and you sort of hold yourself back from doing things because you practice perfectionism, you think people are going to judge you, I'd love for you to comment below and say, you know, how you get yourself to do things. Do you sort of give yourself a time limit and you just jump in and go for it? Do you get someone else to make you do it? I know some of us are like that, right? Well, I'll do it if you do it. Or, hey, I really want to do this. Will you hold me accountable? I get that a lot with working out. I get a lot of people say, well, I want to start running. Will you come run with me? And I know right away, yeah, I'm sure I'm great to spend time with, but I know that half the reason they asked me to come run with them is so that I would hold them accountable. So is that another way you cope with trying new things? Do you get someone else to hold you accountable? Let's say you want to go to a concert, but you would never go by yourself, so you buy 2 tickets and give them to your friend and tell them to take you. That's holding you accountable. That's a great way to make you try to do new things. Also, I know there's a book out there called The 5-Second Rule, and her idea is that that's by Mel Robbins, and her idea is that you count down, the second you have the impulse to do something, you count down from 5 and you just do it. Laura, you easily succumb to peer pressure, but only for good things. Well, see, but that helps you try something new. So that's good. That's good that you have some judgment, Laura, right? You don't just let people tell you to jump off the bridge, and that's good too. But sometimes we do have to manipulate ourselves. Sometimes, like when I want to stay on task for work, I set myself reminders or I write it on my calendar, because for me, when something is on my calendar, it's a task that I have to do. There's just some compulsion, I have to check it off. So that works for other people too. Laura, what else do you do to make yourself try new things? Are you, I know sometimes it's our relationships that help us too. Like maybe some people have a more adventurous spouse, and so you sort of follow that person's lead. Let's see what you wrote here. Laura wrote, I like trying new things with others because then I have someone to talk about it with and share memories with. Right. Someone to say that it truly happened. I almost posted a video earlier. You get the time hops on Facebook, and I was doing something funny and somebody was obviously recording me and laughing, but I couldn't quite hear the laugh enough to know who it was. And there was something about that memory that I thought, that's too bad. It would have been more enjoyable to have someone else, or to know who the someone else is. So you reflect back on it, like, wasn't that funny? Weren't we a little bit, maybe we didn't make the right choice there, or I'm glad you were with me because it was a little bit sketchy, or it was a little bit scary. So that's good. So it is definitely good to take other people in with you. Here's something else I want to suggest for anyone else watching. And Laura, can you just tell me, would you say you're a perfectionist or no? Because this is a suggestion for people who sort of go through perfectionism. You can give yourself an out when you're going to try something new, so that you sort of have qualified about trying this new thing. So sometimes, okay, so Laura, so for you, sometimes when you feel like maybe you're hung up on something and you're not going to do it because you don't know all the details, or you don't know how it might come off and look, you can qualify. And certainly, because I know you're working in the community, so maybe not for something that you feel is going to affect other people, but something fun for yourself. Hey, Carol. And hey, Ashley. Sorry, my light is in the way there of some names. So if you study, if you are a perfectionist and you find yourself being held back on trying new things, purely for the fun of it, you can qualify ahead of time, and you can say things like, okay, I know I might look stupid, but I'm gonna give this a shot. All right, so then it doesn't really matter whether you fail or not. You've already qualified, because that's much better than not doing it at all. Let's see, if you feel like you're gonna fail, you might qualify the situation and say, I know this might not work out, but I won't know until I try. Or I'm gonna give it a shot. I like that, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm just gonna do it, right? So Carol or Ashley, if you're coming on, I'd love to hear, is there something that you wouldn't have tried, that maybe you tried something new because someone else was with you? Laura and I were also talking about if you've, what are the ways you make yourself try new things? Do you drag other people along? Do you write it on a list? I write it on my calendar and then I have to do it. In fact, I will say this too. So I do like to make lists, but something I did not have until this summer was a bucket list. I had no real big dream sheet of anything I wanted to do, and that was a shame because when we were stationed in Germany for almost 3 years, I didn't really have a list of places I wanted to go. I was more just in shock that we were living in a foreign country and we were a good day's travel away from family. And I really wish I had had a list of places to work towards to go see. It wasn't until the summer that I started creating a list, and only because I felt forced to, and it took me months to get over thinking that I was dumb for writing it down or it was a waste of money. And one of those things on there is the unicycle. So for me, I created a list, and that's prompted me to begin to work on things. It just opened up my world. So I would definitely say, if you're someone who works off of lists, creating a list of things that you want to do or want to achieve really gets you going. So even if it's a new thing, for me, it's just like, well, it's on the list, I've got to do it. Hey Ashley, how are you? So I'm just gonna wrap up here and just tell you guys that whether you're suffering from perfectionism like I did, and you don't want to try new things because you're afraid you're going to fail, you're afraid you're not going to look intelligent, you're afraid that you're going to look like, there's so many reasons. Just list them in the comments. We will all commiserate with each other. You feel like someone's going to say you weren't being safe, or that you weren't protecting a relationship. So why did you do what you did? Or you're afraid just in general someone's going to judge you, which is all of those things basically. You can go through a few different processes to get yourself to try. You can qualify the situation and say, I know I might fail. I know I might look stupid, but I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. You can also pull a friend in with you. So like Laura said, if you have someone there with you that helps you and can share the memory with you, it makes, even if you have a failure or an unpleasant experience, it makes that memory sweeter. Oh, I gotta scroll up here. Ashley, you said, I'll have to watch the replay. Yes, love to try new things. Perfectionism is definitely a big roadblock. So yes, please watch the replay, certainly, but for trying new things, qualify and say, I might fail, and go ahead and do it anyways. Pull a friend in and say, come do it with me, and do it anyways. And then overall, just don't worry about if other people are judging you, because you really can't control what they're going to think, given that information of what you do. You can't control their upbringing, you can't control their own personal thoughts and beliefs, and you can't control what's happening to them in the moment. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Laura, one more comment. Laura says, if I put money towards something, I usually have to commit. Yes, definitely. People don't want to waste money either. So I do know some people, though, they will spend the money and then they won't do it. Like, the way they got themselves out of it was spending the money. So that, you got to know what your personality is. But yes, that is one too. I don't like to waste money either. I will go to something like sick. I would go to a concert sick because I would not want to waste money. So, all right, you guys have a wonderful afternoon, and I hope to see you later. Leave more comments, and I'll come back and discuss whether it's in the recording or whether it's right now. All right, talk to you later.